Master Beats.
Now, before we get into it, just a heads up. I am not a mental health professional. What I share here is based on personal experiences and opinions. If you are dealing with a serious mental health crisis, you need to speak to someone immediately. Reach out to a professional. They know exactly what to do to help you. The information and advice that I give are for general insights, not a substitute for personal help. Please understand that your choices are your own. Now, let's do this journey together and remember, it's all about personal growth. Now let's get into today's episode. Well, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Becoming a Butterfly Podcast, episode 12. I'm so excited to say that. It feels good to be consistent. The place where it's never too late to become your better self. I am your host, your girlfriend, your friend, your sister, your homie, whatever you need to call me, I am her. Christina Butterfly, also known as Chrissy the Artist. And we are back, y'all, for another episode of growth. Yes. So, episode 12. We're going to talk about embracing your vulnerability, strength, and transparency. You know, in this day and age, I find two ways. I find a lot of times people are really looking for more transparency, people being more authentic on social media. And you also still see the fakery and the buffoonery and how people go out of their way to make up some viral moment or go out of their way to say something happened that they know they didn't have, hoping that their video become viral. So me learning and understanding that me being transparent, me choosing to show up and be authentically myself, completely being vulnerable. I'm literally showing up here every week telling y'all, listen, I am sick and tired of being on Social Security. I am sick and tired of living my life according to what society say is normal. And I want to take my life back. And I want to do it by helping you take your life back and mean it. You understand what I'm saying? Being authentic about living with mental disorders, trying to harm myself, you know, being authentic about the role that I have carried in my life. Most people don't want to talk about it. Most people don't want to be real about what they have gone through. They'd rather show you the facade instead of being honest and authentic about the truth of what's happening in their lives, not understanding that truth and honesty about what's going on helps free other people. We talked about it last week. So this week we're going to talk about how we're going to give 5 steps on being able to embrace that vulnerability. Okay? 5 steps to stepping into your authentic self. Before we get into it, first let me say that if you're watching me, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please take the time to go subscribe. I am a brand new channel, and I need your subscription so your girl can get monetized. Okay? You also will see my Cash App rolling on the bottom. If you are so inclined to please donate to the podcast, anything that you would donate goes straight to the podcast. I enjoy doing this so much. It is not free, but I enjoy it, and I know that it's a purpose for it. So I'm going to do what I need to do. And I know that this is my path to financial breakthrough. This is my path to my financial freedom. So I'm going to stay consistent, right? I'm going I'm taking up residence on social media, so I'm getting comfortable in my home. You feel what I'm saying? So before we get into episode 12, let's go over what we talked about last week real quick and unpacking that baggage. Because in order for you to walk into your authentic self, you got to learn to let some shit go. You got to let it go. You can't keep holding on to the past and holding on to the things that have you in your situation in the first place. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of times I used to beat myself down for not being healed enough. You understand me? But the truth is that I wasn't letting go. Time anyone called me out on my shit because I was making my decisions based on my hurt and my pain. So when people call me out on my shit, I'll be like, I was beat up, I was hurt. Like, this is the things that happened to me. You supposed to be empathetic no matter what I do. You supposed to be empathetic to it because of the things that happened to me. And that's just not the case. It's not fair. Because everybody go through something. Everybody deal with something. Everybody got some shit they got to deal with and go through. So it is not anybody else's responsibility to have to take your abuse because you was abused. So it's important that you take the steps, and there's many more steps than 5. Like, we're gonna keep it real, but it's only an hour podcast, so we're going to take 5 important that I feel as though is an important steps to walking into that direction. Because once you start unpacking things, everything else will break down. It's like when you start taking your health serious, you start taking your gut health serious, all of a sudden you start realizing that you got your skin is glowing, your hair growing, your nails growing, you slimming up, and all you do is decide to focus on one area. You feel like things, that's what happens with life in general. You start off with one and you work with that. You work with it. So episode 11, unpacking baggage, lightening your emotional load. 5 steps to unpacking your baggage and thriving. The first step was identifying your emotional baggage, recognizing what is those things that have you held down, what are the trauma. You feel what I'm saying? What is it that you have gone through? The hurt, the pain, the anger, whatever it is that you just refuse to let go, recognize it. What is it? Give it a name. You understand? Understand your healing is solely your responsibility. You ain't lying to nobody but yourself. I firmly believe therapy should start before you even see the therapist. The truth is, making a decision to go see the therapist is the start of your therapy, to be honest. But we can do things on our own to help break us out of that initial feeling of, I can't even get out of the bed, let alone call a therapist, right? Excuse me. So let's get into, okay, we identified emotional baggage. So like I said, you got to identify the problem, identify that thing, give it a name. Whether you know what to do with it or not, give it a name. Recognize where it comes from. It's from childhood. It stems from childhood. I don't care if it go all the way down to 6 years old and you're 50. You need to get, if you realize that you have been stuck for 25 years, the only way to unpack that is to go to the source of where it started. As you are going through and unpacking all of that hurt and that pain, you got to move into step 2, and that's practicing self-compassion. You got to forgive yourself. You got to tell yourself that you love yourself. You got to acknowledge that, listen, this is what happened. This is okay. It wasn't my fault. If something happened to you, like, I tell my story all the time. From the time I was 4 till I was 17, I was abused by some form of family member or another, and from outside people. My sexual trauma abuse didn't completely stop until I was 26 as far as being violated. But mentally, oh, y'all, it might be a battle. I can't say, I don't want to put my mouth and say it's not something that I don't deal with to this day. I can say that today I'm so much more healed. So much more healed. It's still hard for me to talk about sex. It's hard for me to talk about needing what I need from it. You feel what I'm saying? As opposed to just go along with what my wants to do and not talking about what I need for me to be pleased, it's still very difficult for me to do that. Very difficult. However, it still needs to be done. I still need to do it. So it's an everyday practice. And one thing I do love about the thing called life is that because life is filled with ups and downs, you want to learn how to be able to handle different situations in life and better. And yes, I know better is not a word, but yet and still, I still want to be able to handle it with grace and dignity and not flying off the handle like I have in the past. You feel what I'm saying? Like, because emotional, it feels crazy. You're exhausted, you're drained. And then I'll look at other people who seems to know how to handle situations a lot more better. Period. Just know how to handle it a lot better than most people I know. I always wanted to be that one who will go through a situation and can just, all right, we're gonna figure this thing out. And now I'm getting so much better. Thank God I'm getting so much better. But it started with me being compassionate to myself, loving myself, self-care. Listen, on the 12th of every single month, I was born on June 12th. So for me, the 12th is a special number for me. And so on the 12th of every month, that whole day is my self-care day. Because I am not good of keeping up. I would like it to be every Friday, because in my religious practices, Friday is Venus Day, the day of women self-care, when you just really just embrace femininity and being you and being a woman. And so that's what I would like it to be for you, but it doesn't work out that way. I'll go through a whole day and completely forget, like, oh girl, you were supposed to give yourself a facial, or you were supposed to take the time out and soak your feet in your foot spa. Like, and I have these things available. I bring these things for me to do it. And I listen. But I know for sure, of every single month is non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable. I'm going to practice. I'm going to be self-compassionate. That is all about me. I'm loving me. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. My man, my kids gonna know it's a 12. Don't call me. Don't talk to me. Don't ask me nothing. Do what I want to do. You talking to me? What you giving me something? This is all about giving on the 12th. Because any other day, I'm going to keep. So on the 12th, I'm receiving. I'm going to give any other time. On the 12th, I'm receiving. And not to say that I don't receive any other time. Thank God I love my man. However, just lead up. You understand what I'm saying? Like, no, this is my spa day. Don't ask me to do nothing. I'm not cooking for you. Nothing for you. This is me, my day. And stand on it. You understand what I'm saying? Stand on it. Number 3, seek support. Go get you a community. Talk to your family. Talk to your friends. We suffer in silence for no reason. Now, don't nobody want to keep hearing you complain about the same thing over and over again. And I really honestly believe that's the true reason why people suffer in silence, because they don't want to do work to change. Courage to stand up and change their situation and circumstances, so they rather complain about it. And since you get to the point where people get sick and tired of you complaining about the same, because I'm not the girl, don't me complaining to me about the same thing. You got about 48 hours. Depending on the circumstance, you might have a week. After that, I don't want to hear nothing else about it if we want to do something to change it. I'm the friend of the change agent. You call me if you ready to change. If you ain't ready to change, don't call me, because I can't do nothing with anything else but that. I'm about actions and solutions. I'm not about keep complaining about the same situation over and over and over again and not do nothing about it. You understand what I'm saying? Not. So when I'm not sitting here and just like going all out about health issues, because I'm trying to figure this thing out myself. So I'm not going to repeat the name that was given to me until I understand how I'm going to really conquer this. This is a struggle. You feel what I'm saying? Am I going to the community seeking help to the people struggling with the same thing? Absolutely. Absolutely. You understand what I'm saying? But you got to go find that community. You got to go ask help, and you got to stop suffering in silence. It doesn't mean that you got to go out and tell everybody your business, but you got to find people that you love and that you trust. And we got to stop saying we can do this thing by ourselves. Life is not meant for us to do it by ourselves. If it was, we wouldn't have families. It wouldn't be mother, father, sister, brother, cousin, uncle, aunts. It wouldn't be that. You feel that? It wouldn't. We are meant to come together to help each other be better. It's going to be a couple bad eggs in a bunch. It has to be. You can't recognize light unless you spin in the dark. If you always in the light, you don't know what the darkness look like. And that means you can't be grateful and you can't appreciate that because you think everything's is all sunshines and butterflies all the doggone time. And the truth is sometimes it's dark, it's dreary, and dim as hell. So you sit in the rain. Sit in the rain. Let it pour. You gotta cry. Let it cry. I love me a cry, yo. I love me a good cry. A good cry. I mean the snot. Because when it's all over, it's amazing how well I can think. I'm no longer clouded by all these emotions. I done released all that. Now I ain't got no choice but to think. We spend so much time trying to be all super strong. Get it? I've been a single mother for 30 years. I don't know what it is. Yo, for the first time in my life, I'm co-parenting and it's with a puppy, y'all. It's with a puppy and I'm co-parenting. But like for the first time in my life, like in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I'm raising with someone. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I get it. I get it. Like superpowers, superwoman, I get all that. I do. I promise you, truly can't wait. I can't wait for the day that I get to look at my man and say, well, what do you think? Because I'm tired of making decisions. I promise. I'm so sick and tired of making decisions. Like certain every day, especially with the house. Especially with the house. Ooh, it's so much stuff that I'm supposed to care that I don't care. Ain't that a man's job? I don't know. We got whatever. I like to sit in my femininity and let him do it. Just saying. I can't wait for the day. Been a single mother for 3 years. I'm tired. And it wasn't just like it was just raising girls. Like that'd have been easy. No, I had girls and boys. 2 girls, 2 boys. Love my babies dearly. But woo, seek support. Go get you some help. Then you move to 4 when you have to embrace forgiveness. Forgive yourself first. Because we carry so much anger for beating ourselves down, for allowing this to happen and allowing that to happen and this, that, and the third and the other. And we are constantly self-sabotaging ourselves consistently. All because we don't take the time out to forgive yourself. Give yourself for most times something you has had completely out of your control. But you tell yourself that why I didn't tell somebody? Why did I keep it to myself for so long? Why did I allow this? Why this? Why that? Instead of just saying, it is what it is. It happened. It wasn't my fault. I don't have to continue to carry this baggage. And I forgive myself for not loving me. Okay? And then to forgive the person that hurt and harmed you completely. Understanding forgiveness does not mean you have to let them in your life. And yes, you got to forgive and let it go. But you make a decision. If the person is worth them coming back into your life, say, boyfriend cheated. Decide to forgive them and let them come back. Understand it's your responsibility to forgive. Now, I'm a person who believes that forgiveness comes with changed behavior. So it's going to be some ground rules and some boundaries and all those things. But once you set those boundaries, you got to move forward until you start seeing some red flags or some boundaries being crossed. You constantly bringing it up. He might not have realized you was the one. He might didn't realize that at the time. And by the time he realized you was the one, he got found out. Are we going to figure this out? I've heard many of marriages that was 50 plus years. Yeah, my husband cheated, and I forgave him. We had to go to therapy. We had to work it out. And once he left it alone, he realized he couldn't live without me. And our marriage was amazing. Some say their marriage was even better for it. You understand? You got to understand that forgiveness thing, okay? Then it's the other side of forgiveness where I'm going to forgive you, let it go, and you shall never cross my door again. Because you will not change. Who you are as a person is who you are as a person. It's not my job to change you. It's my job to protect it, right? So it's not to shut them out of anger, resentment, bitterness. You got to forgive them, wish them well. Pray for them that God changes their heart, changes their life, make them better, whatever it is. But you got to let that go. Forgive and let it go. You're never going to forget. So that whole saying, forgive but don't forget, is a bunch of crap. You're never going to forget. You're a human being. Anything that happens to you is a ripple in your brain. It just is. But it's a difference between being floated somewhere and being formatted always in the top of your head. It's a whole difference. Where a situation will have to trigger, remember that red flag, because you need the memories to recognize the red flag. But you don't want to walk around with the red sign on your back saying I'm a bitter bitch. You understand the difference? It's such a big difference. I learned to forgive so you don't be the bitter bitch. You got to let them go. People hurt because they hurt. He broke you and hurt you. They did to you because they were broken. Listen, let me break this down. My grandfather was a horrible human being, and everything was done to me. He did them and had them do to each other. Brothers, sisters, care. Do you understand what I'm saying? So in that mindset, understanding that this was their upbringing, me what he only knew. My mother did what she did to me, what she only knew. You understand what I'm saying? I would never look at my mother and say she abused me. Hell no. She whooped my ass with an extension cord a few times. A little out, yeah. Was I bad as hell? Yeah. Yeah. Do I feel like this zero discipline they got now help? Hell no. One thing for sure, my generation, we are a lot more respectful than the next generation with more of these. You can't touch your kids at all. Listen, a good pop. I'm just saying. I love that. I'll tear a thigh up, yo. Tear a thigh up. So embrace that forgiveness. Understand that to be able to deal with this thing called life. And once you understand and learn the power of forgiveness, then you slide right on in to step number 5, and that is cultivating gratitude. The power of forgiveness is being grateful that you have gone through whatever that circumstance and situation, you made it out on the other side. That you still had the strength to be able to wake up and take it one day after the next. It's been gone for almost 30 years. This year, matter of fact, will make it 30 years. September of this year will make it 30 years that my father has been gone. And there are days when it can seem like it was such a long time ago. And it's days where it can feel like it was just yesterday. Grateful of the fact that I had a father. And so many little girls didn't. A father that loved me. I was such a daddy's girl. I have 2 younger sisters, and all 3 of us was daddy's girls. I could say it and stand on it. Being authentic, being real, being yourself and your beliefs. Cultivating gratitude will help you be able to really stand in it. It'll help you be able to live in your authentic truth. You are grateful that God even gave you this chance. I wake up every day so grateful that I've overcome all the things. I'm grateful that I was a drug addict because I've overcome it and I know it's possible. I'm grateful that I was a teen mom. One of the main reasons why I'm grateful that I was a teen mom is at 45, my youngest is 18. My oldest, my daughters, my twins, they will be 29 this year. Listen, I get to truly enjoy my grandchildren. Hell, I'll be able to enjoy my great-grands. Hell, I'll be even enjoy my great-grands. And let me tell y'all, when I had my daughters at 15, 16, you could not have told me this wasn't it. My life was over. That's all I can say. That's how I felt. Like my life was over. So that was last week's episode. That's what we talked about last week. And I just want to make sure that we are staying in it, that we are sitting in it. Going each week, we taking what we learning from 1 week to the next week to the next week to the next week. You feel what I'm saying? Because season 2 is going to be about getting to it. But we got to we got to break down those limited beliefs before we get to the point completely unlimited. All right? So embracing vulnerability goes beyond sharing feelings. It's about being authentic and the courage to show up in your imperfection. It involves admitting you don't have all the answers. You don't have all the answers. And that it's fine that you don't have all the answers. It's fine. We can learn it. In this day and age with ChatGPT, whatever I don't know, I find in 2.2 seconds. Okay? But we always want to walk around like we perfect and we know it all and you don't. And this is from people who know a lot. People used to be like, you think you know it all? No, I don't. What I don't know, I say I don't know, but what I do, I do. I'm a Gemini. My planet is Mercury, the planet of communication, which means that all I want to do is learn so I can communicate. It's not to slight you. It's how I was created. It still don't take away the fact that I don't know nothing. Big old universe, I don't know nothing. As much as I know nothing. And I want to keep knowing more and more and more. Period. So we're going to go and embrace it. Vulnerability, strength, and transparency. Vulnerability means choosing growth. That's what it means. No matter what it is, to face judgment, risk, stepping out of your comfort zone. This leads to deeper relationships, true relationships. Create a sense of fulfillment and self-acceptance. I know this for a fact. I spent the better part of the last 5 years pretty much isolated, focusing in prior to this podcast, my creative world becoming like I wanted to find my style of art. It took me years. And I focused on it. I horned in on it. And I realized I was shedding less and less people. I already was moved in a city and state when I really don't relate to a lot of people, especially females. And I'm a girl. And it's very difficult for me to make friends here, which is fine. You feel what I'm saying? It was very hard for me to deal with for a long time. I understand what the direction God has me going. I can't, it don't have nothing to do her, nothing like that is where I'm going. I can't take nobody with me. I don't have a foundation, any female in this town. Maybe two. But for the most part, even a foundation is real rocky on both of them. There is a foundation, but it is it's built on sand. So my foundation is in Philadelphia. And I used to be so angry with God for a long time. Like, why did you have me here? Like, why can't I be where my foundation at? But I had to be at a place to build my own foundation, and I couldn't rely on anybody else. It just was the case. The thing is that when you create that foundation, though, the relationships that you're supposed to have, you will have it. And the creativity that you are, authentic person that you are, it fits on you like a glove. And you wouldn't want to be anything else. I don't want to have 115 fake ass friends in my face. I don't want no fake ass girlfriends. I don't want no sister circle talking about other folks. I don't want no one person thinking you better than everybody else and you everybody mama. Like it's so, you feel what I'm saying? I want an equal circle with all of us like-minded women, each growing and building each other up and pushing each other to be great. That's the circle I want, right? Also showing real strength through honesty and transparency, sharing your fears, failures alongside your hopes and your dreams. You're vulnerable. It fosters genuine connections based on understanding and respect. It helps you not only step into your authentic self, find out your true path that you were truly supposed to be on. How many of you are working at the job you worked at that you started when you was a teenager? How many of you just look for jobs? What was that dream? What was that you wanted to be when you was a little girl, a little boy? Why do you think it's impossible to have? Why do you think you can't live in it? Because we have been programmed to be robots, and we are no longer living in our authentic truth. We are being told what life is supposed to live, and that's the life we're living. I was told because I'm a teen mom that I'm supposed to be on welfare, and then welfare told me because I deal with mental disorders that they call it. Fuck the fact that I had all these traumas. Fuck the fact that I got abused. My father died. I ended up with twins all before the ripe old age of 16 years old. How about I just needed some help? Maybe. From all this, welfare says, no, girl, you cry. I never signed up for Social Security. Let's get this clear. I've never one time in my life went down to the Social Security office and said, sign me up at 25 years old. No. Welfare told me I needed Social Security. And I said, oh, well, if welfare said it, then it must be true. Now, don't get me wrong. Everything I've gone through and where I'm at in life, I'm very grateful. But I also am a firm believer that Social Security, welfare, public assistance, and all the above is nothing but a crutch to keep poor people poor and keep us content with being poor, because it makes the rich people richer. And that's just the truth. I would love for us to choose to be more self-sufficient, to choose to put our destiny in our hands and create wealth for ourselves and for the next generation. And by using the technology that we are blessed to have, we have the power to change our lives and no longer complain and say that it's because of this person, that person, this ethnicity or that ethnicity, this government or the other. There is no one else holding us down but ourselves. So it's truly our limited beliefs and our own mindsets that are keeping us from financial freedom and wealth. Ain't that you really break it down and think about it? The way we going, the slavery mentality, the won. They won. Slavery abolished, but they still won because we still live in slavery mindset, because we still think that the life that we're having is out of our control. We just got to deal with it. It is what it is. God, I wish we understood the power in us making a decision to change. So let's get into it. The key points that we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about sharing feelings openly. We're going to talk about how to ask for help when you need it. We're going to go into admit mistakes and apologize. And listen, this is something I struggle with. Real talk, this is something I struggle with. My dude called me out on it, and I had to just be like, dang, you right. You right, my bad. Speaking of my baby. When I hear it like, girl, you wrong, apologize, I will apologize. Embrace trying new things. And number 5, we're going to talk about your fears. Stop hiding from it. Stop just accepting it. We got a habit of just accepting. I'm scared, period, point blank, in the sentence. So, all right, you're scared. That's one. I recognize that you're scared. Now, you understand what I'm saying? My girl Lisa Nichols, I love her. She'll tell you to strap on, strap fear in your seatbelt and do it anyway, because your breakthrough is on the other side of that fear. But let me not jump ahead. So let me ask you this question real quick. How can embracing vulnerability and openness in our interactions with others lead to personal growth, deeper connection? Imagine having a real, true, authentic conversation with somebody instead of fake foolery. Most times I find myself in conversation with people talking about somebody else. Like they made them shit that day. It blows my mind how somebody else's actions affect other people so much that has absolutely nothing to do with them. Who they fucking, they dealing with, who they talking to, what they wearing, how they look. Everything about them affects your life so much. Meanwhile, at a ranch, you ain't got a pot to piss in and to throw it out of. That's why you so focused on them. But if we took the time out to say, you know what, I'm really still dealing with the pain of what happened to me when I was 6. And I don't know how to keep going from there. What happened to you at 6? I went through something when I was 10. How much time do you spend with a person and know nothing about them? I know, when you don't know me, I can have maybe 2 hands of people who truly, authentically know me as a person, my heart, my spirit. So let's get into step 1. Sharing your feelings. Like, period, telling someone how you really feel instead of hiding it behind bullshit. I refuse to have an unauthentic conversation. I'd rather not talk. Watch a movie and get at something funny, but it got to be authentic. And we're not talking about how can we better each other, how can we grow. What's your 5-year plan? How can I help you create the future that you truly want to have? I don't want to talk about the past unless it's talking about healing from their past. If we're going back in time, it better be to heal that broken little girl or that broken little boy. Otherwise, it's a waste of my time and yours, because there ain't a goddamn thing you can do about it. It's very important to open up honestly about how you feel so those emotions can come up out of you. Because those emotions in you is causing you to self-sabotage, self-harm, alienate yourself from everybody around you. The freedom of living your authentic self is something I can never describe. And I'm speaking from a person who was a pathological liar. And at any given day, I gave you any given version of the life that I should have had. Now, what I had to understand later on is that it wasn't so much that I was a pathological liar. I had such a vivid visualization of what I felt like my life should, and I didn't know or understand how to create it. So I made it up. Now I understand that I am it's making it up, telling my subconscious, listen, I'm a multi-millionaire right now. My bank account don't say that, but I'm a multi-millionaire. Believe that. I walk in abundance. I walk in wealth. I am wealthy. I am abundant. Be successful. This whole thing is a figment of my imagination. My future is already set. This podcast is, I'm already done got sponsorships from iTunes. And I don't even have Apple products. Do you understand what I'm telling you? That's how I feel about this thing. That I'm going to be invited on stages. I already got it. It already belonged to me. But boy, the journey I had to get to this place, y'all. And I ain't going to act like it's still not a struggle. My therapist just yesterday, like, I'm driving down the street. It's so dark and it's so foggy, and all I can see is only headlights touch. And I'm terrified. I know I'm going in the right direction, but I had to take a detour. And y'all, detours. I have faith to know this guy, this car, this vehicle is going to get me to the destination, period. But it has to start by being authentic and opening up, telling people how I really feel instead of keep giving the fake. And I'm going in my house and I'm dying. Not to mention sharing your feelings, you'll find out who really with you and who isn't. And you'd rather find that out quick than later, to be honest. So you might as well be real authentic. I'm crazy and quirky as hell. Awkward as hell. I know I am. I'm going to be exactly me. If you don't like it, then you going to get away from me. And I ain't got to worry about being in my face. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we hang on to stuff that is not needed for us to hang on because we ain't meant for everybody. But your tribe, the people who's meant for you, is out there. So start opening up. Ask, step 2, ask for help when you need it. This was hard for me It was mostly hard for me to ask for help because it's always I did open up and ask for help. Arab and nobody had it, right? It was like nobody got it. It's more about the energy because it very well could be so that you opened up and asked for help, right? And just so happened the people that you asked couldn't be right then and there. But guess what happens? Life goes on and somehow it gets figured out. Help comes from a different direction. Something shows up. But when you don't ask for help, when you don't reach out, when you suffer in silence, there's no way any help can come. I hate to do the parable, but this one, it always come to mind because it's so true. And it's the parable of the young man drowning in the river. And he said, no, God's going to save me. Another boat going by. No, God's going to another boat going. God going to save me. The man drowned. Heaven said, yo, why you ain't come and save me? And said, I sent you 3 boats. What you want me to do? Come up off my dog. I'm supposed to come out of heaven and save you and only you. I sent you 3 boats. We have to learn to save our damn selves. And a lot of times saving ourselves means to open your mouth and ask for help. And when I want y'all to understand that when I say give these tips, these advice, saying it because I don't know or understand. Let me tell you a quick story. I was so addicted to powder at a time in my life that I would do absolutely anything for it. One particular day, I had a goose down. I believe that's where the coats were. They were the fur on the inside and the leather on the back. I had a boyfriend who bought me. And at this time, I'm 145 pounds soaking wet, yo. I come out the house. I had a white beater on, and this is one of the coldest winter days in Philadelphia. I lived out Southwest Philly in Bertram Village. And I walked from, and if anybody know about Southwest, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Put Philly in the chat. Put Philly in the comment if you know what I'm talking about. I walked from Bertram Village to 54th and Woodland. Like a little past 54th and Woodland. So if you know, it ain't around the corner. I get there. I go to this ancient ass walk for $20, y'all. Begging begging him, don't go, please don't go. He like, all right, whatever. $20. Of course, by the time I walked back, he was gone home when answering the phone. It was like, oh, I was so angry. And that addiction has you so. I left at the time my baby boy was 2 years old. I left him in the house with his sister and his little brother. And I am just giving my power to this white substance. Never forget that I walked in that house and felt so horrible and so low that the only thing I could do was to pick up the phone, call my mother, and ask for help. No, my Pandora doors opened up for that, but it was having the heart to even ask for help that I truly believe allowed me to be able to not spend 50 years with a crack addiction. And that was many, 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 many years ago. And I didn't complete powder totally, say maybe about 7 or 8 years. But it certainly was the past. And I truly believe that mindset kept me from ever doing crack. Because if I'd have switched over there, your girl would be sitting here today. What I hear. So asking for help today can change who you become tomorrow. Step 3, to admit your mistakes, to admit your faults, to admit when you're wrong. Say you're sorry. Your pride and ego and something fierce, especially if it comes to like mother-child dynamic. I'm not going to even like it's easy for me to admit that I'm wrong when it comes to my kid. I don't know if it has to do with just that my of you ain't gonna catch me slipping. I don't know. But I know that it's always been a struggle. My mom, me, you feel what I'm saying? Like, my mom shows her apology as opposed to saying I apologize. You feel what I'm saying? I ain't said that's a good thing, but I don't live with you, and so sometimes I just need to hear you say it. Supposed to down, I have to look in the mirror. They called me to the carpet with my son, and I had to be like, all right, my bad. And then I hate that. And I had to really work like, oh, son, I apologize. Whatever the situation was. But the truth is that you can't get better out of life for yourself if you can't show up authentic in that truth. And that means you have to admit your mistakes, admit your flaws. If you messed up, say sorry and try to fix it. And if you can't fix it, let it go, because you're only human. We're not perfect. I've hurt people and didn't even realize I'm sorry. Understand what I'm saying? I'm only human. People have hurt me and even apologize. And I'm still going to have to apologize and let it go. Why? Because they only human. They're flawed. We all are. It's amazing to me how we expect perfection out of imperfected people. It's like men want to get in this relationship and say, oh, I ain't doing none of that. I ain't doing none of that. I'll be back. You want a perfect girlfriend, but she's an imperfect human being. And I wanted to know when you became perfect. You want to take two imperfect people to create perfection? We can have perfect moments, perfect time. You might be the perfect person for me, but we are two imperfect people coming together to try to create something perfect. I want to make something beautifully imperfect. I'm very detailed when it comes to my art. But when I make a certain mistake that is human, I leave it. I used to try to overthink it and overwork it and then know it's all right. And then it was like, this ain't no goddamn machine doing this. I'm a person. And each and every one of these rhinestones is put on here one at a time. And there's 2 million of these rhinestones on here. I'm supposed to do a perfect 2 million times. I don't want to be that perfect. The most freeing feeling I ever felt in my life is when I sat in the fact that I am not perfect, nor will I ever will be, and nor do I want to be. So sit in your mistakes, apologize for it, fix it if you can, and if you can't, let it go. Now, step 4 is one of my favorites. And it's to try new things. Do something you're not sure about and be okay with not being perfect. When I first started painting, I'll tell you this real story. I didn't draw anything for over 20 years. Nothing. In fact, when I would have a memory, I used to draw as a kid, amazingly on you. When you stop using a muscle, of course, it dies. Use it, right? So I would pick up a pen and be like, I remember when I used to draw, this look horrible. This is horrible. What I was thinking? I can't. It took me to be incarcerated. Ain't shit else to do with my time, right? Did I tap back into that creative part of my mind, dive into it deep, and found that part of me that never went away. It just didn't grow it. You didn't feed it. It was starving. When I started painting, I ain't ever paint on canvas in my life. I went to a friend of mine house. Shout out to my girl, Malika, 20th and Suskew. I went over here and Malika had, and that canvas and that paint, y'all, I swear to God, orgasm. It did something to me, my body. It did something to me physically. I had a whole orgasm. I swear to God. I took my next Social Security back and I invested in some paint brushes and some canvases, and I needed what that felt like. So many beautiful paintings around my house, and my paintings is literally, that feeling was real. All the art that I can create, I can give a lot of away. I can't give away my paintings. It's like my DNA. I really have to do prints. My paintings are my DNA. But I had to step into that. I had to just decide to say that I'm going to do something I ain't never do before in my life. And I got some pieces I wouldn't want to show nobody. But I'll show everybody. Because you'll see the growth. You got to do it. You got to sit into your imperfection. When you start doing new things, it's preparing you to sit in discomfort. Yeah, man, we talked about that. Being uncomfortable. And there's no growth if you just sit comfortable in everything. So venture out. It always kills me when I meet a young man, especially living here in Trenton. Trenton is 7 miles I meet a young man who tells me he never left out of West Trenton, it terrifies me. Terrifies me. The thought of, I know guys who used to say they ain't left out of North Philly, and that terrified me. You can literally walk across the street and be in North Trenton, cross another street and be in South Trenton. Like it's 7 miles. Like it's easy. Next, real easy. So to think that you're, oh baby, this world is so big. I was telling my cousin the other day when she was talking about go to Job Corps and want to keep him close to home. No, let that baby explore this beautiful world that God has given us. Send him to a Job Corps as far as he can go. See that what's around him is not everywhere. Yes, it's certain things that's everywhere, but it's so much more to this big, beautiful world. So go out and see and do and try new things. And number 5, last but certainly not least, is to talk about your fears. Because when you give names to it, it no longer holds power. A lot of our fears sit in our head. Don't nobody know about it. It's just there. And it's only scary because we tell ourselves that it's scary. I'll never forget, I went bungee jumping. One of the only times that I've gone. But I remember standing there. And the instructor was behind me, and I'm all in, and I, got everything all. And it was the type that had me strapped around my feet. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't like head diving. It was like you really, jump off, and then it bounce you back. You got 2, you know what I'm saying? But I'm terrified. And I got my eyes closed, and I'm just steady there. And he whispered in my ear and said, the hardest part is letting go. And as soon as go came out his mouth, I just let go. So terrifying and so freeing. Consciously, I done strapped myself to all this equipment. My time to go is my time to go. But I'm about to do something that I want to do, and it's going to break me free of that mindset of fear. I hate fear. I hate fear. It's so crippling. It stops us from doing such little stuff. When you hear people say, I'm scared of getting on an airplane, so you don't fly nowhere. You don't ever have experience, and you've never been in a situation that made you fear the plane, like you just scared of the plane because it's something to be afraid of. You feel what I'm saying? When we went on a cruise, I came out of her room and seen all that body of water, and she was absolutely terrified on that 3rd day. But by the time we got home, she was just going from place to place. Because I said, yes, I understand this boat sink. It's right. But I also understand that this is 2023 at the time. And there were a lot of precautions made to make sure that this is a safe journey. And I was sued the hell out of Carnival. You understand what I'm saying? So you gotta put name to whatever it is that's keeping you grounded and in bondage. And believe and trust that God will never give you more than you can bear. And really, fear is just letting you know that you're about to step into the unknown. Or it's just something you've never done before. And you'll be able to face it honestly and true. Crazy how these are the steps that can take you into being authentic and living your true authentic life. It was very freeing for me to be able to say that there was nothing wrong with the fact that I never felt comfortable having a 9-to-5 working anywhere. I hated it my entire life. It was always a struggle. I was the one who always called out from work. I hated it with a passion. The only job I ever had that I loved. And that's because I can be every character that I am. I'm a Gemini and there's so many sides. But that I also left out of there with money every doggone day. And every day I went to work, it was something different. Like I could do that. But job, I had to stand on that and understand that it wasn't meant for me. And I'm meant to do exactly what I'm doing. This is my, I love doing this. I love doing this podcast. I love sitting here doing what I'm doing right now every day. I absolutely do. I love being an artist. I love creating art. Absolutely. I can do it all day, every single day. And we are meant to do what we love to do. We was taught and to believe that we are supposed to be born, go to school, work for 50, 65, 70 years and die. Hopefully sometime in between that you can figure out traveling or living a life or enjoying it or having fun somewhere in there. Just one, if you tell me I got one life and this is what I'm supposed to do with the one life that I'm having, and this I'm working is making someone else rich, what? Fuck you, pay me. That's why I'm at. I want to thank you so very much. I do, for joining me. I enjoy doing this so much. I can't say it enough. If you enjoy listening to this content, if you enjoy my podcast, please, I encourage you, if you are not already subscribed, please subscribe. Click that like button. If you are subscribed and you're a part of the tribe, I need you to click that like button as if your first time watching me and you like it. Click that like button. It will really listen. Whether you click that like button. Well, no, I can't say that until after I get monetized. I need both. I need for you to subscribe, and I need you to let YouTube girl is here, and I am here to stay, honey. If you choose to, I was so I will be very grateful if you wouldn't mind. Oh, and y'all, please forgive me. I see that I go through this. You see this? Do y'all see what's up here? Stop this step 2. I'm so sorry. I got to get back in the vibe. You know how it was. If you watch episode 1 through 10, you know it was a little rocky from 1 and 2. We're going to get back in the vibe. We're going to get it together. I promise you. By 3, 4, we're going to be in the flow. We'll let this go. We going to let it go. I ain't even going to go back over it. I'm not going to go back over it because this is what we do. It's what we do. Follow me, please, on my social media. You could definitely follow me on Instagram and on Facebook. Please, if you have a butterfly story, I would absolutely love to hear your story. If you just need some advice, if you would like me to help you in a situation that you are struggling with, you are more than welcome to write me at becomingabutterflypod@gmail.com. I cannot wait for the day that I get my first letter and I get to read it. I can't wait to have the butterfly story segment. Oh, I can't wait, but I need your stories to have the segment, so please, so we can talk about it. Also, if you so inclined, if you so would love to, please, you can definitely send me a donation, an offering, and your Cash App. Every little bit helps. Every dime that is donated to the podcast goes to the podcast, okay? I will be having a giveaway soon. I will be launching Chrisio's Arts and Crafts soon on YouTube channel where we'll be creating art live. Yes, and I will be doing a giveaway. And I'll be giving away one of the artwork that I will be creating live on Chrisio's Crafts and Designs. And we got a lot of things down the pipeline, and we got things moving, okay? Because I got 19 subscribers right now, and your girl we need to get it up there. Like I know about my birthday, and my birthday is June the 12th. Okay? So we gotta get things in motion. We gotta get things moving. I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining me. Right back here next week. And remember, nothing is happening to you, but everything is happening for your greatness. Okay? It is your girl, Christina Butterfly, also known as Chrisio the Artist. You have been watching Becoming a Butterfly podcast, a place where it's never too late to become your better self. I love you all, and I see you next week. Bye now.
Zeno's Master Beats.